Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. The topic this time is Your Practice in Your Pocket, Tips on Practicing Law with Tablets and Smartphones. This webinar is hosted by the ABA Legal Technology Resource Center, and speaking today will be Ron Collins from Amicus Attorney. The Legal Technology Resource Center is an ABA member benefit provided by the ABA's Law Practice Division. The LTRC has been providing lawyers with legal technology guidance for more than 25 years. You can find a variety of legal technology articles, guides, videos, and other resources on our website at lawtechnology.org or our blog, lawtechnologytoday.org. Ron Collins is an experienced attorney, a fellow of the College of Law Practice Management, and an internationally recognized author and speaker on the subject of law and technology. He is also the founder and CEO of Gavel & Gown Software, a company dedicated to providing practice management solutions that work the way lawyers do. Thank you all for joining us. We'll now begin the webinar.
Thanks, Rose. It's a pleasure to be with you today, and I'm talking about something that's really exciting in terms of how it's changing our profession. Of course, the arrival of mobile devices like phones, smartphones, tablets has changed not just the legal profession, but so much of our world today. But what's fascinating to me and really liberating to me is the way in which these great consumer tools can also change how we practice law. And as we all know, it's all about mobility. It's about the ability to have information and to be able to act upon that information anywhere you are, which translates into you don't have to be locked into that office anymore. Now, of course, we're all familiar with the fantastic freedom you get from being able to handle phone calls wherever you are, and of course, emails, and our thumbs are all wearing out with the number of messages we send from those devices. And that in itself, you might say, is terrific in terms of what it's done for your law practice, and I certainly agree it is. But what's really important to know about is what else is available out there? How many other different things you can use to enhance your practice and turn that smartphone and that tablet not just into a communications device, but into really your entire law office in your pocket or in your briefcase. All right. First of all, in case you're wondering, hey, is anybody else really doing this? Here's some interesting stats. Now, I've taken these stats from the 2013 ABA Technology Survey, which is the best source of information we have available to us today in terms of what lawyers in America are really using. And as of when that survey was done, which I think was about August of last year, 52% of law firms overall have tablets, and in the smaller firm market, 41.4% of solos and 44.5% of lawyers in small firms reported personally using them for law-related tasks. Now, what's really interesting about that is how quickly that's growing. You'll see the stats there on the slide, 29% in 2012, 12% in 2011. In other words, the use of tablets by lawyers for practicing law has almost quadrupled in 2 years. So if you're wondering whether this is something, is worth getting into, apparently your colleagues think it certainly is. With that rate of growth, it's phenomenal. Also, if you're wondering what kind of tablet people are using, and therefore what kind of tablets are most likely to get further and better apps for practicing law, I mean, it's interesting to note that 91% of the tablets used in law firms are iPads. Smartphones are a similar story. About 80% of lawyers in small firms personally use them for law-related tasks, and that stat has tripled in the past 2 years. Another terrific rate of growth, and at the rate we're going, I think that's going to be pressing on 100% within a year, two at the outside. And again, the vast majority of those smartphones that are used by lawyers today are iPhones. All right, let's start with the basics. When you're using one of these devices, make sure you set up your email, your calendar, and your contacts and your reminders. And don't just connect those to Gmail or to some personal email account or something else like that. Because what you want is to be connected to your office and to be sharing the same information as in your office with you on your mobile device wherever you may be. The great news there is that Exchange, which is the Microsoft email program which sits in behind Outlook, is phenomenal at that. It has a terrific integration with Android and iPhone devices so that you can set up one account on both and share the same information. You can, if you have Exchange in your office, that's easy and terrific, and you've already done that. If you don't and you're wondering how to do it, Exchange is available from a broad number of companies on a hosted basis. So it's easy to get for a very low monthly subscription. You'll get better email that way, and then you'll have a terrific ability to share all your information on your devices. You don't want two calendars. You don't want two lists of contacts or reminders systems, because that's just a formula for our problems and have a malpractice situation. So make sure you connect them so that you have one practice management system. You're using practice management software, and I certainly think you should be. You want one that shares, again, the exact same information for the same reason. You don't want two calendars. You don't want a calendar on your iPhone which is any different from the calendar in your practice management system. You need one integrated system reading from the same data, if at all possible. The other obvious thing is that you want a word processor and spreadsheet on your tablet. I find that using them on the phone is awkward. If you've got small fingers, great, but I find it too small a screen. But once you get to your tablet, if you're going to edit devices, you need a word processor that's capable of reading, editing, and saving Microsoft Word compatible programs, and they're very, very easy to get things started. Now, what I promised you is that you can really, really practice law using these devices. So let's talk about some of how that takes place. And what I'm going to be doing this afternoon is going through in a fairly rapid-fire way some of the different tasks or things we do as we practice law, and showing you or talking about how you can accomplish those on your smartphone or tablet. By and large, if it's something that really requires a lot of typing, then I'm going to be showing you tablet-like devices, and other things will be for smartphones. Some will work on either. The first, maybe not the first thing you think of as enjoying or really something you wanted to do when you started practicing law, but something we all need to do from time to time is legal research, finding out what the law is wherever you may be. And if you're somewhere, as you may be these days, and remotely communicating with a client and you need to know the law, you don't want to have to say, I'll get back to you when I can get to my PC. So the ability to do legal research on a tablet is phenomenal. And of course, there are website interfaces for all the leading legal research providers, and you can get into them through that way and get some research done if you have accounts with them, which is terrific. If you don't, or if you're wondering how to do something that's really optimized for your tablets, have a look at Fastcase. It's a relatively new and fast-growing legal research system that covers the law in all 50 states. A couple of different subscriptions available. You can get a free trial, and then depending on which profile you want, it's $65 or $95 a month. Comparatively very aggressively priced, and really well-designed interface so that you can do your research on your tablet. I definitely recommend you have a look at it if you ever experience the need for remote legal research. Another free resource that you can have a look at is Lawbox. Now, it's not nearly as extensive, but it does have the biggest states available in terms of statutes available for it. And in both cases, I've put the URLs here on the slide. Have a look and see what else you might want to take advantage of from them. But those are just search services. There's a lot more in terms of legal research that you can get. For instance, the entire U.S. Code is available free, and I wish I could remember the gentleman's name right now, but it's a law professor who's chosen, it's sort of his private project to make this available, and as you can see, it's an iPhone designed interface which allows you to research the code and find it quickly, and you can have that entire code downloaded onto your iPhone wherever you may be. So if that's something you need on a regular basis, well, it can be just there in your pocket. Terrific utility and a terrific public service that this professor is doing. Or there's a variety of different states have made available their rules of civil procedure. So for example, the federal rules of appellate procedure is available in an iPhone interface. The Florida rules of civil procedure, the Texas rules of civil procedure, there are more. And as you can see, they vary in how they design their interface and how you might be able to maneuver around in them. But they're all designed for a touch interface. They're designed to be in your pockets. When you need to know the rules, you don't have to pull out that big bound book of rules of civil procedure. by way of background, I'm a litigator, and that book used to be my Bible. It followed me everywhere and added weight no matter what kind of simple motion I was going on, because you never knew when you wanted to or needed to find out a specific rule. Now you can just turn to your iPad and it's there. Legal reports, the monthly reports, and we all know there's so many of these. Many of them are being available by publishers like LexisNexis, who on behalf of the local jurisdiction or the publisher are putting them out in digital format in an application that will run on your iPad or other tablet. Martindale-Hubbell, another big book here. If you need to find lawyers in a different jurisdiction, you want a local counsel, or for a variety of different reasons you need specialized counsel, Martindale-Hubbell is basically the Bible on that. It's been around forever, but now it's in a completely new format. Again, as you can see, it's on your phone. So you can just, it's the entire Martindale-Hubbell right there on your phone. It's a phenomenal utility. Or how about Black's Law Dictionary? I remember back in law school, and I've still got that giant big green book on my bookshelf with its little gold trim, and it's huge. Most of the time you don't need it, but every once in a while you need that legal term, and it's available. Now it costs about $55, but it's the latest version. And as you can see, it's got a well-designed touch interface so that you can go into it, look up the legal term you need, get a definition, and so on right from there. And I've included on that the link to the iTunes store so that you can download that right away onto your iPhone if you're interested. And of course, when we're talking about dictionaries and defining words, not all words that you need to look up are something that's going to be in Black's Law Dictionary. Sometimes you just need to check on a meaning or look for a synonym or something else. And so here, these two pictures I've just taken straight off the Apple website. What you can see is when you select any word on your iPhone or iPad, you get the little blue indication that you've selected it, and you can then click the button Define, and built into the iOS operating system is this dictionary, which gives you really quite a remarkably good definition so that you can always be sure to have the definitions of words you need. All right, research aside, there's a variety of different magazines that are available on your pocket device. So the ABA Journal has a free application. That's this one here as a sample, and there's your URL to find it. The ABA Litigation Journal, which I think has a nicer interface, also has one right there, and there's your URL to find it. And if you're interested in Canadian law, Canadian Lawyer has its own app for your mobile device as well. There's a variety of other sources of legal news. There's a 99-cent legal news reader that grabs stories from a variety of different legal sources. You can see some of them right here in this list, and it's going to compile them for you and have interest lists, top articles, and so on available on your phone whenever you want to do that kind of reading. All right, if you're doing all that legal research, you're going to want to track some of your billable time, and certainly this is something that, especially in terms of your cell phone, having something in your pocket to be able to do this is tremendously important. So I've listed a few ways in which you can do something from the Belfield Company, and I've given you the URL there. iTimekeep, they have a nice clean interface, and they're designed to work with a wide variety of different accounting systems. Whether or not the particular time billing system you use is on the list, you can find out by going to that link on their website. But what it enables you to do, now it's fairly manual, but it enables you to, with your thumbs, record your time entries and then get them shipped off to your accounting system, a very convenient utility. The next one there is a really interesting one, CLE Tracker. So what this is an app designed to track your continuing legal education time. As we all know, most state bars and jurisdictions have a requirement for a certain number of hours of that every year. And tracking it and categorizing it according to the correct category for qualification is something we all have to do and sometimes forget. So there's a nice clean app that can go on your phone that'll do that. And again, I've given you the connection there. Last but certainly not least, Amicus Time Tracker. So Amicus Time Tracker is an application that will run on your iPhone, your Android, and on your BlackBerry. And what it does is it's fully integrated with your full Amicus management system. So that gives you a lot of advantages in terms of instant connection to both billing and to all the other information that's available in your Amicus system, and the ability to track the time very, very quickly. So here's a couple of screenshots that will give you an example. So this is an iPhone, obviously, and what I'm looking at is Amicus Time Tracker, and there's the sheet. There's a button for showing, so I can select whatever date range of time I want to look at, and I can see for each date, February 26th, I apparently only had 2 time entries with a running total of 7.5 hours. On the February 25th, I had more, and you can see them running down. It scrolls just with your thumbs. You can see the total time on any time entry you've created, the total time here for the date range that I've picked, and you can just touch any one of these to edit it, or click the plus sign to get a new one. And when you get a new one, then here's a new time entry. Because it's totally integrated with your practice management system, all of your client matter files are available with a touch, and you can see both their name and the client matter ID. The date's going to default to today, but of course you can change that manually. And the duration's filled in, activity descriptions, and you can fill in any description you want. When you want to put in things like the time, they're just quick, simple thumb wheels. So with a couple of swipes of your thumbs, you select the file, pick your time, and then you can put in your time entry description. I'm going to come back a little later to talking about some really cool ways in which you can do that. So very, very fast and convenient. It means that no matter where you are, if you're in the backseat of a taxi, if you're on a golf course and you get a client phone call, you can record your time and make sure it's in your practice management system. Indeed, if you're in a golf course and have that client call, and the next day your assistant is putting out the bill on that matter, without being able to do your time on your phone, that billable time might have been lost, but with his time tracker, it's going to be there. All right, let's move on. There's a lot to cover in half an hour. Scanning. This is one of the really cool things that smartphones are capable of now, because virtually all smartphones have cameras built in. And there's multiple applications. I've only highlighted a couple of them for you. But these applications install on your smartphone, and using the built-in camera, they'll scan any document and turn it into a PDF that you can then work with. And that works with both, of course, your smartphone camera and the camera built into your iPad. So you can take a document and just scan it in right there. So with the electronic age and the importance of being able to capture documents, work with documents, transmit documents, and no, you don't need to have a scanner. You don't need to get back to the office and scan something. If you've got your phone, you can capture the document and scan it as a proper PDF. And then next thing, want to be able to work with the document. A couple of different applications will do this. The one I've chosen to highlight here is Annotate, which works ideally on your tablet, and it allows you to read PDFs, mark them up, share them, and of course you can work with Word and PowerPoint files too. So as you can see in the example picture there, you can highlight text, put in notes about text, all the things you might want to do. Say you've got a draft agreement from someone, you can scan it onto your tablet and then mark it up so you've still got the original PDF and a marked up version all right there on your tablet. It's phenomenal what these two applications together can do in terms of creating a mobile office wherever you and your iPad are. All right, this next one has to be just about one of my favorites. Dictating documents. Now, I've been practicing law long enough that when I started first-year lawyer, I was handed a dictaphone and I had to talk into this little black box device that went out to the legal assistants to type up. And that was how you got your thoughts and the text down quickly. Well, then over time, as we became more and more computerized, lawyers were expected to use the keyboards themselves and type. But at our hourly rates, our typing speed does really not justify typing ourselves. On the other hand, that's the way we work these days. We've come full circle. It is now possible to dictate to your iPhone or to your iPad just by talking to it. And it's unbelievably accurate. It's more accurate than my legal assistant used to be back in the days of dictaphones. So if you've got an iPhone or iPad, you've seen this little microphone at the bottom of your keyboard. If you haven't tried it, as soon as this webinar is over, please pick up your iPhone, touch that, and play with it, because it works really well. You just touch the microphone and talk to it in a normal voice. Go a tad slower than you would in conversation, but you don't have to go a lot slower. And do try and enunciate your words clearly, but that's it. It's not like the old days with voice recognition programs where you had to wear a headset and it had to learn your style and everything else. You just talk to your phone, and it works, and it puts the text in. So now back to what we were saying about Amica's time tracker and how you can, with a couple of clicks of your thumb, create a time entry. When you want to put an activity description into it, talk about what the billable time was for, you just use this feature. Touch the microphone, dictate your text for your time entry into it, click the done button, and you never had to type it. It makes it so fast. Now, if you're in an environment where you don't want to be dictating out loud and other people hear you or whatever, there's another really great way to get text into things like time entries or other documents or other things you might be doing on your mobile phone or tablet. And these are called various text shortcuts or expanders. And then as an example, as I've got here on the slide, you might type MWOS, and then that will immediately, as soon as you hit the space bar, be expanded into meeting with others side. We all have standard phrases we use again and again in our time entries, and you'll find that you could probably list anywhere from 10 to 20 of your most common phrases in just a few minutes. And they're so easy to put in. So I've got here on the side how you do it. If you've got an Apple device, you go to the settings, general, and then keyboard, and then it says down at the bottom of that section, shortcuts. Click to add shortcuts and just type them in. Very, very similar for Android. Go to settings, language and input, and then to your personal dictionary, and then you type the plus sign and do the same thing. Really easy to set them up, and once you start using them, you'll wonder how you ever did without them. All right, those are all different ways in which you can generate documents or pieces of text. But you can do even more than that on your tablet, because you can do what's called document assembly, which is using templates for forms or full legal documents, and you combine them with the facts of your matter, and then you generate a full Word or PDF document with just a few touches. So instead of just putting a few phrases or words into a time entry description, you can generate a 5-page or 50-page legal document on your iPad in a remarkably short amount of time, like 10 to 15 seconds. There's a couple of great programs for doing this. One, if you just want a standalone document assembly system, Hot Docs has been a market leader in this for years, and they have a cloud version now, so that you can use it on your iPad, and it's very clean and good. But for me, the real power in document assembly comes when you integrate it with practice management, when you can generate intelligent legal documents using the information that was in your practice management, so you don't have to type a bunch of short phrases or answers, because it already knows so much about your client matter, and things happen so much faster and easier. And by far the market leader in that is Amica's Cloud. And I've done another ABA webinar about that if you want to have a look or find out more by going to the website shown there. All right. Last but not least on the subject of documents is taking notes. If you don't want to use any of those shortcuts and you don't want to dictate, you can actually just scribble on your iPad, and your notes will be captured and will become searchable if you use this really cool application called Penultimate. It's produced by Evernote, and it works with Evernote for the searching and sharing. On a personal level, I find the other techniques I've just described so much easier that I don't really need Penultimate. But if you're someone who can't quite give up the urge to use a pen to take your notes, check out Penultimate. All right, now let's get even more serious in terms of really practicing law. TrialPad. If you're a litigator, this is a great presentation tool that you can put on your iPad and put things up for the court, for the jury, highlight text, show comparisons, show video clips, have exhibit numbers put on, and other related things. It's a really good tool that has the capabilities of far more expensive and sophisticated tools, and yet it works on your highly portable iPad for a very reasonable price. And again, I gave you the URL there to locate it if you want it. And here's another one from the same company, TranscriptPad. I mentioned that I was a litigator, and I certainly remember going into the courtroom with a briefcase full of transcripts from the depositions in advance of the trial, and they were all marked with yellow stickies, and I'd use my highlighter on the phrases I wanted to use, and you were anticipating what the witnesses might or might not say. And now you can leave that big briefcase behind, just bring in your iPad. You can do all of those things with this clean, simple application running on your iPad. Again, I've given you the URL if you're interested in getting it. It's from the same company, Lit Software, and it's a very reasonable price. All right, we're not stopping there. If you're an intellectual property attorney, you can do patent work. This app costs $2.99, and as you can see, it lets you dig through patents. You can search claims, titles, inventors, you can check out priorities. You need to know the patent numbers. You can bookmark them, and then you can even associate them with your matter names and numbers. It's a terrifically useful application for intellectual property lawyers, and it's all on your phone. Again, I've given you the URL if that's of interest to you. Or, if you're an intellectual property lawyer, how about trademarks? Now, this one comes from Thomson Reuters, and they made it available for free. So you can review trademarks, do trademark searches, and it all syncs with the Serion analysis tool. And there, again, is the URL if you're a trademark lawyer and you're interested. What about documents? So much of our legal work revolves around our documents. Well, there's a variety of applications ranging from the simple consumer tools to the sophisticated legal tools, which make it easy to work with documents on mobile devices. One that probably everybody listening to me knows about is Dropbox. There's its URL if you want to check it out. It's convenient, it's inexpensive, and so many people use it. I think more than half the legal profession have said that they use it in some way, somehow right now. It isn't really designed for lawyers, and it does have some possible security holes. If you just want to do something simply, great, but I suggest that you might want to look at something. Once you get into what this can do for you, check out Box, which is much more secure. It's at box.com and has more features designed around lawyers. And if you want to take it all the way up, then you need a practice management system on your iPad that has full capabilities in terms of cloud document management, and that's Amicus Cloud. First of all, it integrates with either Dropbox or Box so that it takes what they already do, and you may be using one of those, and it takes what they already do, but it turns them into legal document management. So it gives full text index searches and things like that, client matter associations and references, so that you can work with those documents in the context of your client matter file, which makes either of those utilities much more powerful. But Amicus Cloud also has a full independent document management system built in, including full version control, all there on your iPad. So it becomes very, very powerful indeed. Or you could use all three together. You don't have to choose just one or the other. Another thing you might need to do at any given time in the practice of law is calculate dates. If you're a litigator, it's a date perhaps for filing a statement of claim or a statement of defense or other pleading. And again, intellectual property, so many areas of law have legal rules surrounded by date deadlines. A good standalone application for that is called Deadlines on Demand. It comes from the CompuLaw company, who are now a division of Adorant. The URL is there. They've been doing it for, I think, about 30 years. And they have rule sets for any given jurisdiction. So you don't, if you're a litigator, you don't even have to figure out the various rules. They supply them for you on a subscription basis. Again, there's a date calculator built into Amicus Cloud, so it's all part of that full practice management system. And that leads us to one of the most important things that you can do on your mobile device, and that is you can manage your entire practice. So everything I've been showing you up until this point has been elements, specific elements, but one area of law, ranging from working with a PDF to doing legal research to working on a trademark or things like that. But what's phenomenal nowadays is that you can bring it all together into one cloud-based solution that manages your entire practice, the full professional side of your practice, organizing client matter files and documents, legal calendaring, task management and deadlines, contact management, business development, recording your phone calls, and indeed your email, legal research, everything together. And it puts it all in with the business side of your practices, time, expenses, billing, collections, and trust, and a variety of other legal-related tools like conflict of interest searches, practice assistance, deadline calculations we mentioned. And the cool thing is it's all on your tablet. Wherever you have your iPad, you have your entire law practice. Here's a quick screenshot of it. We don't have very much time. I'll give you just a flying demonstration of it. Here I'm logged in as Bobby Donald to Amicus Cloud. Now I'm running on a Macintosh here, but it looks and works exactly the same on an iPad. One of the important things to notice is that this application is designed with a touch interface. So it's designed for these mobile devices, for your fingers working on things. You'll also see that one of the things that sets Amicus apart is it's such a helpful system. Just looking at this screen, you can see like I have 10 calls to return. It's going to show me my callbacks. You have 11 recent activities without time entries. Help me do them. 11 files with unbilled WIP. Show me my WIP, or help me collect my old accounts. And I could just navigate to any given aspect of the system with a click. There's my calendar, there's my files. If I want to see a file, I click and open the file. You can see all the related elements of the file, from trust management to the appointments to all the email on the file. Now, Amicus Cloud is unique in that it's fully integrated with your email. Remember back at the beginning we said you want one calendar, one set of contacts, and one email system. Well, Amicus Cloud reads from the same email that your iPhone does. It reads from the same email that your Outlook does. It's not creating copies. It's reading from the same database. So you have your full email system right here, which is great just in terms of being able to send and receive emails, but it also includes things like client matter file references, and it knows and makes it very simple to do time entries on any of the client matter files that you may be working with. So you can see the word done here wherever I've done them, and unfortunately far too many where I haven't. Notice how it's automatically assigned some of my emails to client files. So any email, just like in Outlook, any email that's bold, I haven't read yet. See the little envelope's closed. But it already knows that Heather Gavel's on my Aladdin purchase matter, George Gallagher is on the Gallagher will matter, and so on. So Amicus Cloud can be organizing my practice for me in the background, even when I'm just using my iPhone. And I can be using the Mail app on my iPhone, or I can be using the calendar, the built-in Apple Calendar on my iPad, or the Reminders application. And all of those reminders will appear right here in my tasks list in Amicus Cloud when I next open Amicus. And all of them will be available to me. I might have been doing those emails and so on just using Mail on my iPhone. I can come in here. It says you have 11 recent activities without time entries. And Amicus has been watching those emails sent and received just from my iPhone. I pull out my iPad, open it up, and here they all are. These are all emails I've been sending and a phone call I had that I haven't yet do a time entry for. And I can just select that top one and say do a time entry, and Amicus does a time entry for me, and it's ready to bill. Very, very powerful, very, very mobile. All the information, all the documents. We talked about document management. Here they all are. Those are Dropbox documents. These are regular documents that I've opened up. You can see the version control and other such things. I've got my practice with me wherever I am. All right. What else can you do? Well, you can certainly have a laugh at yourselves, and I just put this in as an example. You can even get lawyer jokes that run on your iPhone. Basically, the point is you can do almost everything that you want to do in your practice, and maybe even some things you didn't want to do. But the last key point that I want to stress here is security. All those things I've just talked about, it was a running list. There's many, many more that you can do. It's really worth investigating. You can stop thinking about an iPhone and an iPad as just a neat utility to play Angry Birds on, get your email on, or maybe read the odd book on. It can be a full practice platform. That's its great strength, and that's something to be aware of, because if you leave your iPad in the back seat of a taxi, you have left your law practice in the back seat of a taxi. So make sure it's very simple to set up. Make sure you set them up with a strong password, and then get the Find My Phone app. Just go to the the App Store and search on Find My Phone. It's an app that runs on both your phone and your iPad, and what it allows you to do is use any other iOS device. If your main device disappears, you can find it, and if you believe it's stolen, you can disable it remotely there and then, or you can find it and get it back. You need that. In today's world, with all the security things going on, yes, it's phenomenal to have your practice in your pocket, but protect yourself in case it falls out. As I said, that was a really flying overview. There's so much more we could talk about, but I hope from today's quick session that you've got a sense of how powerful it can be to practice law on a smartphone or a tablet, and how much potential there is out there to change your life by doing so. Thank you very much.